Welcome back to another Tuesday night shiur, Rabotai, on such a great day, holy day, positive day. Before we start, does anyone have any questions? No? You don't have any questions? You just studied like 6 questions.
So all my questions were answered already.
Okay. Fine. How about for the viewers? No? Okay, let's go. We are in this week's parashat, Shalach. Okay. Everyone knows the story. Moshe Rabbeinu, I just want to let you know, this was towards the end of the first year that the Jews were in the desert. From Parashat Bo, right? Until this week's parasha is practically, not this week, a little bit more, another 3 parashiot, until Balak, right? Is practically a year that we're in the desert. And then there's a 39-year gap, and then goes Balak, the story with Balak. And it's so funny because we assume that 40 years in the desert, this whole thing, no. The Torah doesn't mention anything that's not important. It's not important, skip, next. Now you might say it is important. Everything is important, but is it important for generations to come? If you have to leave a message to your descendants, you're not gonna leave, oh, I loved a chocolate ice cream. That's not important. That's not something that you leave on to your family. What do you leave on to your family? The Gemara says you live on things that's gonna last. You leave money, finances, right? You leave Torah, mitzvot, your notes, your books, and a good name. So the Jews are going, they want to go into Eretz Yisrael. At that time, Eretz Canaan, the land of Canaan. And Moshe Rabbeinu wants to send people to check out the land. Laturit Haaretz, to go and check what's going on. The truth is, this was Moshe's idea, not Hashem's idea. Moshe made a big mistake over here.
And because of that, he wasn't able to go into Israel.
The truth is, he wasn't able to go to Eretz Yisrael because his neshama couldn't go to Eretz Yisrael. So the Torah gives a whole bunch of reasonings. The rocks, the screaming at the Jews, the spies, the complaining, right? There's always reasons I can give you. But the reality, he wasn't meant to go into Eretz Yisrael. His neshama wasn't ready for that. That's it. That's the answer. Oh, there are so many reasons. Yeah, they're all connected to, in a spiritual realm of him, his connection of his energy, of his neshama, wasn't ready to go in. Not that it wasn't ready. It was so calling for that. If he would go in, it would have caused a destruction because we weren't ready. Right? Anytime we're not ready and we force a supernatural power to make it that we should be ready, only problems happen. Destructions. Balagan. Why? Because if we're not ready, we're not ready. We can't do things that are not proper. There's a derech, a ma'aracha in life. There's a way of life, right? A 5-year-old can't say, oh, daddy, I want you to put me in high school. No, you've got to go to kindergarten. You've got to go to pre-1A. You've got to go to 4K, whatever the case is, right? There is a ladder to things. So too the derech of the life. Now, why is this funny? Because these parashiot is exactly from last week was Beshalach, right? Sorry, Be'alotcha. From Be'alotcha, when it starts talking about going to war. In this week's parasha, it's about not going into the Eretz Yisrael. The next one's about Para Aduma, right? And then goes Korach. Sorry, first goes Korach, which is saying Lashon Hara, right? Fighting against Moshe Rabbeinu. And then goes Chukat, which talks about Para Aduma. And then goes Balak and Pinhas. These are all parashiot talking about Eretz Yisrael, all on the down low. Now, there's no mikra. Coincidences don't happen. I know you asked before about the current event that's going on in the world. Listen, I'm not a prophet. I don't know. Is it gonna cause World War III? Does this mean that Mashiach is here? Is this the Armageddon? Is this considered Gog and Magog? I don't know. I'm not a prophet. How am I supposed to know? I know one thing: a person should continue living his life normally, to the best of his ability. Do what you gotta do. Don't live in a fantasy. Oh, yeah, the Geul is coming, so we have to do nothing now. Let's just wait. What are you waiting for? Olam kemidnahu noeg. We hold it like in halacha. The world is still going to continuously being the way it's supposed to be. We're still going to need doctors. We're still going to need barbers. We're still going to need everything. Why wouldn't you go to work? You think Mashiach comes, you're going to sit all day and just do nothing? Lehefech, you're going to work double. You're going to work triple. You know how many more halachot we're going to have to learn? The whole Tumah v'Tahara we're going to have to take out. We're all Amei Aratzot in the dinim of Tumah v'Tahara.
Maybe 1,000 years.
What?
Another 1,000 years.
What is another?
After Mashiach comes.
The dinay of Tumah v'Tahara.
Like the Messianic era.
The Messianic era hopefully is gonna. It's supposed to happen right when there's a gilui of Eliyahu Navi and Mashiach Tzidkenu. It's supposed to happen faster than we think. Why? Because once he's here, he's gonna make milchamot. He's to make wars. Not the wars because he wants to kill. He has to bilah hamavet lenetzach. He has to just get rid of all the negativity. Once the negativity gets out, you have to build a Beit HaMikdash.
But the Mikdash is already
Okay,
ready.
there's different midrashim. Is it going to come from the heaven? Is it going to be that we build it? Is it going to be a combination? Is it that we're going to build it and then after it's going to come down? Well, we're going to have it. Para Aduma, we're going to have it. And then right away, once we have the Para Aduma, it's done. Tumah v'Tahara is back in the game. We're all going to do kibbutz galuyah. We're all going to have to go to Eretz Yisrael. We're going to have to live there. Our whole life is going to change. How to live is just going to change.
How are we going to adapt to that?
We're going to have to learn to adapt. That's why the Chafetz Chaim already started teaching Torah HaKohanim to the Kohanim. I think every kollel should learn it and teach it. I myself, during this summer, I'm planning on dwelling in the Dinei of Tumah v'Tahara in depth. It's not going to take 2 months, it's going to take a while, but I want to start. I have different ideas because I know different halachot, but lema'aseh, at the end of the day, practicality, all right? Everything is going to have to be connected to the ground in your house. Because anything that's connected to the ground is not makabel tumah. Your beds are going to have to connect to the ground, your tables, your couches. Your wife sits on it, she's a nidah, it's makabel tumah. You're going to have to put your bed in the mikveh every time. Some even say she has to live in a separate hut. Not a hut, but a separate house.
So the second floor is not.
Second floor, I don't know. Right? Maybe a shed. No, I'm just joking. Right? Right? Just it's gonna be a different world. Mamash, different world. People think it's gonna be simple. Oh, we want Messiah. You know how much more work you're gonna have to do? So much more. The amount of work you're gonna have to do is gonna be 10 times more. Go ahead.
You said for Kohanim they have a lot more work, right? What about Levi?
For everyone, not just Kohanim. Tumah v'Tahara goes for everyone.
No, not Tumah v'Tahara. I'm saying.
So what's your question?
You said for Kohanim they have halachot, right? What about for
Everyone? Everyone's gonna have extra halachot, not extra. There's no extra. The halachot, the laws that we haven't practiced for centuries, literally, are gonna have to be practiced. And wow, how are we going to know how to do it? Eliyahu Navi has the Mesorah. It's going to be Techiyat HaMetim. There's going to be 3 rounds of Techiyat HaMetim. People don't know this. The Zohar says there's going to be also Techiyat HaMetim before Mashiach comes. For the Tzaddikim to see the revealment of Mashiach. The Zohar says this. So I'm not making this up. The Zohar in Parashat Naso, if I'm not mistaken, actually. I think in Naso. I have to check. I know it's written in one of the Chok Israel. It's one of the Parashat of Chok Israel. Or maybe Beshalach. I have to check again, right? He says, how is this possible? Techiyat HaMetim before Biyad Mashiach Tzidkeinu? According to the Ramban, Techiyat HaMetim has to be in a couple of years. He brings in one of the Mefarshim of one of the Psukim in Shir Shirim. That's it. It's done. The dead have to rise. You know what kind of miracle that is? That the dead is getting up? That's a phenomenon. That's unbelievable. And again, in Judaism, we do believe 100% in reincarnations and all these things. These are not far-fetched ideas. So these concepts that you hear are going to become a reality for us. Can you imagine, Yosef? A reality? This is scary things. But you're going to know there's a gilui, there's a revealment of godliness in the world. So the fear is really not going to be there. But the living of how to live, the understanding is going to be there. That's the most important thing.
What you said about people coming back into reincarnations and stuff like that.
That's still gonna happen.
Who's getting up and who's not?
So the Gemara has a small list. Let's just say very short. If you keep Torah mitzvot, you're gonna come back up. But if you keep Torah mitzvot by breaking your desires, you're for sure gonna get back up. Unless you do certain sins that are not. I'll give you an example. Let's say Zman Kriyat Shema is what time now? 9 something, right? 9:30ish, right? You like to go to a minyan at 10 o'clock. So you wake up, you say Shema, and then you go to the minyan. You're doing what's comfortable for you. Get up, go to shul by 8 o'clock. You daven the whole davening in Zman Tefillah. That's called breaking yourself to do what's right. We assume that we have to serve God and do Torah mitzvot on our comfortability. No. As much as I preach and I love to say we have to love God and we have to do things with enjoyment and we have to find a sense of meaning, doesn't mean you should be a hippie and do it on your time. Even if we say the concept that God needs us, so I'll do it on my time. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. You should do it in the proper time. Everything has to be done proper. If it's not done proper, it's not done at all. Right? A man's going to say, oh, I'll get married when I'm 80. So he'll get married when he's 80. Oh, look, I got married then. But you don't have kids. You don't have a family. You didn't do it properly. Okay, you got married then. Oh, yeah, he's happy. No, Lamaisi, you still missed a big portion. Rebuke has to be given when it has to be done. We see it in this week's parasha. What do we see? After Moshe Rabbeinu sends the spies, and the spies, the truth is that the mistake was that we didn't go in with full trust, full emunah to Hashem. Every day a person has to pray, Hashem, give me emunah and bitachon, to trust and to go in your ways. It's so important. Every day we have to pray for this. You open up a Siddur and Shmoneh Esrei every day. Hashem, I want to have faith in you. Put in me, instill in me such a faith, rock solid. It's so important. It's vital for our existence. It's if not the most important thing, especially in this generation. To go with that faith in God. All these people that go through all these traumatic experiences, the only thing that can take them out is once they conclude it comes from God, and it's for your benefit. If they don't come to that conclusion, they're not getting out of the sickness. They'll substitute it with something else, something that doesn't have feet. But once you put God into the equation, automatically there's a reason, there's something. I might not know it, but I know it's there. And that's the most important thing. That's what we have to work on. So one of the most catchy psukim that I saw in this week's parasha was Vayomer Moshe says to the spies and to the Jewish people, right, when they came back, Lama ze'atem ovrim et pi Hashem v'hi lo tetzliach. Why are you saying that? Why are you going against God's words and saying we won't succeed? People have a tendency, they take their fears and their trauma and they like to put the narrative on other people. Why are you doing that? You have an issue? You have something you have to work on? Don't throw your issues on other people. People do that because they want validation. They want recognition. That's wrong. That's not why we do things. We don't do it because we want other people to say, wow, kol hakavod lecha, such a good person. That's a narcissist. Narcissists take their experiences and their scenarios and they throw it on everyone, not knowing that every single human being is different. Everyone. If a father didn't succeed in an endeavor in his life, doesn't mean his son won't succeed in his endeavors. That's Lamasa, that's the truth. So we get all these advices from people based on their experiences. You know what's my favorite? My favorite is when a couple, when a girl, especially women, express their issues to their girlfriends while all of them are having issues. Usually the one that doesn't have an issue never gives advice. She just says it's going to be okay. Everyone else says, no, you have to do like this, you have to do like that, you have to show him who's boss. Show him who's boss? You're a wreck. What boss? That's the problem. The problem is you're too much trying to show him that you are the boss, you don't let him do his job. So you know what he said? You do it. Oh, he's not a man. Oh, yeah? Because you want to be the man. So, do you want to show him who's boss, or do you want him to lead the way? I want him to lead the way without showing him that he's the boss. So, are you gonna follow his steps? No, because that means he's the boss. Hey, said Majnunit. It's crazy. What kind of nonsense is this? Either follow 100% or don't follow at all. This is the problem with human nature. This is the problem with this generation, especially. We have to understand. If we're giving our trust 100%, whatever HaKadosh Baruch Hu says is we have to do. That's why the safest place and now is Eretz Yisrael. The safest place. The safest place in the world is there. It's not here. You think you're safe. It's not here. Here is not safe. America is not safe. Eretz HaKodesh is safe. Want to know why it's safe? I'll tell you why it's safe. Psychologically. Over there, if someone's going to get hurt, everyone's going to get up to try to protect you. Over here, you get hurt, you get harassed, everyone just ignores you and walks away.
Even worse, they take out their phones and they start recording.
Whatever the case is. That's just nature. I saw a video of someone sent me of a family, not just a family, a whole kfutza. A bomb fell in their house. They were outside. They came out of the shelter. They were all dancing. They said, "Look at the miracle God did for us." Couple, husband and wife, they were getting married. The place closed down. There were sirens that came outside. They did the chuppah. That's called a nation of hope, a nation of continuing going, a nation that understands struggle. We've been through it so much. It's in our DNA how to handle. We know how to handle our lives better in struggle than in peace. It's so sad. You want to know why? Because we haven't been in peace in a very long time. We don't know what it is. And that's why this generation, what's the greatest test? Mental health. Because once we'll master mental health, we'll be the most peaceful people. The world will be so peaceful. We won't need to run to therapists and all these things because we master that mental problem that we have. All that past trauma that we're carrying out from generation to generation. It's amazing. Well, we don't look at it that way. Well, how come we don't look at it that way? Because it's easier to blame the world for our problems than to take responsibility for our problems. Since it's easier to blame, I'd rather blame than take responsibility. You ask a couple before they're getting married. A girl has anxiety. Oh my God, how's it going to be? Why did you go out? What was the point? Oh, you wanted to get married? Trust the process all the way. You have to learn to trust the process. Can't be a wreck. You're never going to get anywhere. So to us in our life. Moshe says to the spies, you don't trust God? You were just there. You didn't see the miracles that God just did for you? He made the whole country occupied just for them not to catch you. He made the people die. Why? Just for you to go and them not knowing who you are. He made the fruits blossom for you to take it. He made it that you should go in and you should go out. Isn't that not miracles? And you're complaining? What kind of nonsense is this? And in that time, there were giants also. That's our life. Our life is always like this. Tests after tests after tests after tests. We just have to know how to do one thing. Just one thing. Have full trust in Hashem. Because if we're not going to have full trust, we're going to say, it's in my hands, we're never going to make it. We're never going to make it. Ever. We always have to have God's name in the beginning and God's name at the end. Always. I never heard in my life so much how the parliament in Israel, the Zionist parliament, mentioned God so much in the past week than they ever mentioned in the whole matter of politics. God will help us. God will save us. We're doing it for the people. We're doing it for God. I'm like shocked. Far right, far left. Like, what's going on over here? What is it, saying God all the time? Why does Hashem do all this? He's trying to sift it all out. He's trying to get us all back. He's trying to help us that we mentally and physically should be wanting to be connected to Him. He's our lifeline, regardless if we like it or not. Don't judge Judaism based on the experience that other people had, or based on the experience you had with people that gave it to you in a bad vibe. A lot of people went to yeshiva or even go to shul, the rabbis or the gabbai, the people in the shul sitting down, and they look ultra religious, but they have bad midot, and they give you a bad taste of God. Don't judge God based on them. You have to judge Hashem based on your experience with Him. Now here's the difference. This is where everyone gets lost. If you think God is a bank account, meaning He always has to answer you and give you whatever you want, that's not God. That's idol worship. God is like a relationship. It's a two-way street. You open up and you tell Him what you want, and if it's good for you, you'll get it. And if it's not good for you, you won't get it. And if you deserve to get smacked up sometimes in life, you'll get that too. But to make this whole image that God is an unconditional, meaning that now I have to get whatever I want, that's not God. That's not a relationship. That's not a relationship. And that's what the spies didn't want. Why? You want to know why they really didn't want to go to Eretz Yisrael? I'll tell you why. Life was good in the desert. No work, they got the man. No using the bathroom, they didn't have any bodily fluids coming out. No new clothes grew in with them. People weren't dying, life was good. What more can you want? Can you want anything else? No. What? You telling me now I gotta go to Eretz Yisrael? I have to conquer. First of all, we gotta go to war. We gotta conquer the land. Then we have to settle in. Now I need to farm the land. Now I have to get a house. Now I have to have an army. And now I have to pay taxes. Now I have to serve in the Beit HaMikdash. Oh, who needs this? Moshe Rabbeinu. We're good. We're good in the desert. What happened last week's parasha? What did they tell Moshe? We remember the cucumbers and the watermelon and the garlic. Why are you telling this to him? What's this nonsense? He took you out of slavery, but God took you out of slavery. No. Because even when someone is in slavery, even though you'll tell him you're a free person, if you're free now, but if you still have that lingering of what if, you're still a slave. And that's why the old generation needed to die where? In the desert. Because the new generation shouldn't have their habits in Eretz Yisrael. That's the amazing part. That's something we have to understand. You have any questions? Nothing?
I have a question actually.
Go ahead.
There's an idea of if Hashem gives you like a challenge, it's always something you can handle, right?
Correct. There's no challenge that is not for your benefit. Now, when we say handle, not necessarily doesn't mean to overcome it. Sometimes you have to learn from your difficulties and from your failures. See, failing doesn't mean that you didn't succeed.
So doesn't mean you can get through it?
Not necessarily. When someone has a challenge, it's because he has to learn something out of that experience. If you were meant to overcome it, you will overcome it. But if you didn't overcome it, it's not because right now you're a bad person, but you had to learn something out of that result.
What if it's so extreme that like you just want to like commit suicide?
Correct. There are
people fail.
100%. But that has to. When a person reaches a level and he wants a suicide, it's because he takes God out of the equation. It's because he's just blaming himself. Now, unfortunately, there are certain situations that, yes, people could feel that way, and they have good reason why to feel that way. But LMI, nevertheless, always have to understand it's from God. That doesn't mean you have to do reckless choices. Once a person says, it's all from God, I can, whatever, he's failing. He's not going in the successful route. Because now he's blaming God for all his failures. Not knowing that this was his choice at the end of the day. You have to do your number one hishtadlut. Someone came to me the other day, he's finishing pharmacy school. He has one more year. He said, Rabbi, I want to drop out. Why? You're the end of rotations. You're done. I want to go learn. I said, okay, finish your school, then go learn all day and all night. I want to do now. I said, listen, learning is the greatest thing in the world. If you think you're going to be able to handle it, by all means. But if you ask me for my opinion, I would tell you, very simply, finish school, finish. After you finish, learn as much as you want. Learn as much as you want. Why? You went through the whole process. You want to learn? Kol hakavod. I'm very happy. We're all happy. We want you to learn. But don't shoot yourself in the foot. You have to support a family one day. Right? You gotta pay the mortgage, you gotta pay the yeshiva bills. This concept of, I'm just gonna do nothing and say Hashem will help doesn't work. Hashem doesn't help for people that are couch potatoes. How come he helped those big tzaddikim? Because they were in such a level of emunah that they didn't doubt, they knew. They knew. There's a big difference in sitting and doing something and knowing and doubting. You can't convince yourself. Once you're starting to convince yourself, it's an issue. That means you didn't acquire that 100% of I'm the greatest in what I do. That's it. When you told me about the whole thing about your work, I told you you gotta find a new job. I'm a very big advocate. If you don't like your job, you have to find a new job. My wife just told me she's retiring from her major. She wants to get into a new career path. Why? Makes good money in that career path. Well, what's the problem? It's not about the money. It's about the soul satisfaction. She reached a point that she wants to do things that are more spiritual and more effective to other people. She said, I'm done. She said, it's not about the money. We'll survive, we'll make it, we'll pay bills, this and that, but I want to do things that are more, my neshama is calling me to do things that are much higher than what I assumed. Now, am I right? Do I have the right to tell her no? No, I don't have the right to tell her no. Because this is an inner calling that's beyond my understanding. The truth is, it's even beyond her understanding. Why? Because It's exactly what Hashem wants for her. And it's also what Hashem wants for me. He wants me to work on my emunah at this time when she's going to go work and when she's going to go start her new life. Now, her new career has not to do with a lot of money. It's more of a spiritual route. A woman also grows in spirituality. Kol hakavod. A person has to be logical and understand, can I succeed or I can't succeed? Will I make it or I won't make it? Because if he won't make it, he's shooting himself in the foot. You have to ask yourself these questions all the time. What can I do in order for me to succeed? Someone asked me, he's in medical school, his wife's in medical school. How is he going to survive? He wants to get married. They want to get married. I said, take student loans. Take loans. You anyways have so much loans. Take another couple loans. You live. You don't need to rush into doing living luxury. Take loans and live off loans. Live simple. You don't need a fancy car. You don't need new clothes. You need to pay your rent, get for food. If you have a kid, you have a kid. If not, live simple. Because that's the point. The point is not to be putting your nose up in the air and saying, oh, look at me. I'm the best person in the world. Who are you lying to? You're lying to yourself. And that's not the purpose. That's not the point. That's not why we do things. What were the punishment of the spies? Who knows?
Speaking Lashon Hara.
What was their punishment? But how did they die? Come on.
I forgot.
How about you? Go.
With their tongues turned into like worms or something like that.
Their
right.
Their body basically became into maggots and it was eating itself. It was a disgusting death. Why? The tongue that lied is the tongue that needs to fix you. The process of your body decaying is so vital for us that we can't get a normal resurrection until our body decays. Even tzaddikim and gemurim, their body will decay for a split second and then they're going to get back up. Everyone must die. Everyone must die. Why? Because that's taking out the zohama of the nachash. The zohama of the nachash, of the snake, is through death. That's why, what was the problem with the golden calf? It brought back that same zohama that we had, that we took away. That's why Matan Torah was the highlight. After Matan Torah, what happened? Boom. The negative clothing that we had, zohama. It really means like the garbage. Like a klipa situation. Understand? Their tongues became maggots, ate them alive through their belly button. And in the same parasha, what mitzvah do we have that we talk about? Tzitzit. You know, I was talking to two people actually. There's some people on social media, they're saying how the Talmud is all fake and the rabbinical laws are fake and whatever. They go into this nonsense, and the truth is because they never really learned it. And these guys that were yeshiva guys, and you see them wear a kippah, they wear tzitzit, and I asked them, I said, they put a mezuzah on their door. They're like, these are all biblical laws. I said, if you can find me one mitzvah in the Torah that tells me how to do it, mitzvah aseh, how to do it, then I don't know. You're right. What is tzitzit? Does it say anywhere what tzitzit is? It says tie it on your corners. Mezuzah, what does it say? Put it on your doorpost. Tefillin, what does it say? Put it on your hand. Totafot, what does it say? Put it on your head. Right? It doesn't say what it is. How do you do any of these mitzvot? Because they have a narrative. What's their narrative? They don't want to do anything. When a person doesn't want to do anything, he'll find any excuse. Is it scary to take the next step? Very scary. But the more you push it off, the more you're admitting to yourself you're weak. Because the scary step is going to be there regardless. The question is, are you going to take the step today or tomorrow? Why wait tomorrow when you can take it today? Or because it's more comforting? You're a coward. Oh, you don't know how it feels. I don't care. I went through things in my personal life that you will never know how it feels. Right? You won't know. But you gotta go through it. Maybe it made me who I am. It makes other people who they are. And haters don't care about haters. Ignore them. The haters are the best thing for you. You wanna know why? You got a fan without even asking for one. You have a fan, you're famous. You're even more famous than any movie star. Why? Because that hater thinks about you 24/7. You know where that hatred comes from? It's even more than jealousy. The hatred comes from not mentally approving of yourself. See, when a person is mentally happy with himself, he doesn't care about other people's success, their good doings or their wrongdoings. Why? Because he knows he's in a good place. Once the judgment and the hatred comes, you know that person's not happy with himself. So what does he do? He tries to put you down. He tries to make you feel like you're nothing. And it hurts you because you're like, doing my best. Like, aren't we supposed to be on the same team? You know why it doesn't work? Because you guys are not on the same team. You're trying to do Avodat HaKodesh and he's trying to bring the Satan into everything. Those kind of people you can't allow to get to you. You have to learn how to push it as far as you can. And that's for your benefit. This world is all a mental game. You pass the mental stage, you're a master. You fail the mental stage, you're gonna play repeat for the rest of your life. I want you to take people that are older, that never matured really. Do you think think how successful they really are? Even if they're very wealthy, how successful in the sense, are they in peace or they're not in peace? A person that's, anyone that you can think of. A person that's in peace, he's untouchable. You wanna know why? Because he doesn't care what other people say. I'm good. I'm Gucci. You can't clap me. I'm good. Even people that will spit at you, will curse you, will threaten you, you're like, I'm good. Thank you. Because you know you reach that pinnacle point of, it doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what anyone says. What matters is what I'm destined to do. Going by the guidelines of the Torah Mitzvot. That's what matters. Nothing else matters. Does anyone have any questions? No? How long has it been?
39 minutes.
Any questions before we finish the night?
Yes, you're saying back to the free choice thing.
Go ahead. A free choice then.
No, not free choice.
We didn't talk about that today.
Tests.
Go ahead.
So the reason they don't overcome it is because they take Hashem out of the picture?
No, that's not what I said. The reason why you have these tests in your life is because you asked for it.
How?
I want you to think about what I just told you. Every test you asked for in your life, you asked for. The problem is
How did you ask? When?
The problem is you didn't ask for the test, you asked for the result of the test. Not knowing in order to get the result, you need to pass the test. I'm going to say it again. We all pray and ask for the test, but we ask for it indirectly. Because we all really want the result of what the test is going to get us to learn. Not knowing you're not going to be able to learn from the result of the test until you go through the test. You need to go through that situation in order for you to get to that maximum point. So when you pray, I want to be rich. So God says, you want to be rich? Sure. No problem. I'm going to give you a boss that's going to make you into such a workaholic, habibi. Oh my God, I'm working too much. I can't anymore. But you wanted to be rich. You wanted to be successful. God, give me patience. Okay, no problem. What does He give you? A child that knows how to take you off to the next level. God, I just want to love. How do I learn to love you? He gives you a wife that nags you all the time.
I know.
Those challenges are there to help you. That's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. They're not bad. They're all a lesson of life, how to reach ultimate, to reach the highest level. You and I, as humans, think they're bad because we're looking at the now, the process. We're not looking at the result, the end game. We have to focus on the end game, not the whole process. Even if you think you fell, that falling was there just to teach you a lesson. That's what you have to understand. It doesn't matter how hard you fall. What matters is how fast you get back up. We all fall. But how fast does it take you to get back up? Oh, you have to start from square one? No problem. But you got back up. That's something we cannot forget. Any other questions? No? No current event question?
No.
No? Okay. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen v'amen.